Hey guys, it's me King Diablo, and in today's video I show you the skill review for the newly released woosa Awakening Choryeong class. So this is the first skill for Choryeong class. It's called Sowing. This skill has super armor but it's not applied in arena, and it does turn on first hit and daze on last hit. This skill also has a special effect which deals the same damage as the skill after 3 seconds of using this skill, but this damage does not include the branch damage or the flow damage. The flows of this skill reduces enemy defense, inflicts burn on enemy, and increases the maximum number of uses of this skill. This is a mid-range skill and is a really useful skill for starting off combos with this class. This is the second skill for Choryeong class. It's called Pure Ori. This skill has super armor but it's not applied in arena, and it does daze on hit. This skill has two phases. The first one inflicts damage on enemy instantly after casting the skill, and after that it summons a flower on your enemy's direction. After that, in the second phase, the flower bursts and deals another phase of damage to your enemy. This is a mid-range skill, and the flows of this skill reduces enemy critical hit chance, enemy attack power, and increases the range of the skill. It's a really good skill to be used for PvP and boss rushes. This is the third skill for Choryeong class. This skill does knockback on hit, it does 19 hits in total and has super armor. The flows of this skill increases your defense, reduces enemy movement speed, and reduces the cooldown time of this skill. This is a long range skill and is a really good skill for both PvP and PvE. This skill has two phases of attack. In the first phase, you keep standing and attacking by keeping the skill icon pressed for longer, and after that phase ends, in the second phase, you send a projectile towards your enemy that damages your enemy and does knockback on them. This is the fourth skill for Choryeong class. It's called Moonsong. This skill does knockdown on last hit. It has super armor but it's not applied in arena. This skill also has a special effect which attacks your enemies again after 3 seconds of using this skill, and it does same damage as the skill, but it does not apply the branch damage or any flow damage of this skill. This is a close range skill and can be used for boss rushes and mass PvP. The flows of this skill inflicts burn on enemy and increases your attack power. This skill also has an additional attack flow which deals same damage as the skill, and you can use it by keeping the skill icon pressed for longer. It does knock up on last hit, has super armor but is not applied in arena. This is the fifth skill for Choryeong class and it's called Crouch. This skill does knock up on hit and it does 19 hits in total. This skill has two phases. In the first phase, you constantly deal damage to your enemies if you keep the skill icon pressed for longer, and in this phase, this skill has forward guard. Once this phase ends, it sends a projectile towards your enemy, dealing damage and inflicting knock up on them, and in this phase, it has super armor. The flows of this skill increases your defense and recovers your health points. It's a long range skill and is useful for both PvE and PvP. This is the sixth skill for Choryeong class and it's called Gene Butterfly Clouds. This skill has invincibility but it's not applied in arena, and you can consume 30 mana points for this skill to add any additional movement distance. This is the main movement skill for Choryeong class in mass PvP. The flows of this skill reduces the cooldown of the skill and increases the movement speed of the skill. This is a really good skill to use in mass PvP. This is the 7th skill for Choryeong class and is called Flower Play. This skill has invincibility and it does turn on hit. This skill can be used twice in a row or twice separately without any cooldown. The flows of this skill reduces enemy attack speed and increases your defense. This is a really good skill to be used in PvP. This is the 8th skill for Choryeong class and it's called Fall. This skill has a special effect that attacks your enemy again after 3 seconds of using this skill and deals the same damage as the skill. But this damage does not include the damage from its flows. The flows of this skill increases your attack power, inflicts bleed on enemy and reduces the cooldown time of the skill. This is a slightly mid-range skill and can be used for PvE. This is the 9th skill for Choryeong class and it's called Sai He. This skill has super armor but is not applied in arena and it does knock down on last hit. Also, this skill has a special effect that attacks your enemy again after 3 seconds of using this skill, and this attack deals the same damage of the skill without including the flow or the branch damage of the skill. The flow of this skill increases the number of objects you can hit with this skill by 1. This is a close range skill and can be used in both PvE and PvP. This is the 10th skill for Choryeong class and it's called Whistle. This skill does knock down on last hit. The flows of this skill increases your attack power, increases the range of the skill and increases the number of objects you can hit with the skill by 1. This is a close range skill but it has a pretty big area of effect, so it can be used in both PvP and PvE. This is the basic attack skill for Choryeong class. This is the 11th skill for Choryeong class and it's called Ya. It's the basic buff skill for this class. This is the passive skill for Choryeong class and it's called Thickets. So basically, when you use any skill for Choryeong class, it gives you an orb. And when you have collected all 5 orbs by using 5 skills, the next skill you use will summon a flower. This flower will explode after a certain duration and deal damage to your enemy, and it will explode faster if it's close to your enemy. When this flower explodes, it does 6 hits and deals 1500% PvE damage and 1000% PvP damage. Also, when you use any skill for Choryeong class, it activates a passive skill effect for 20 seconds. And every time you use a skill for Choryeong class, the passive skill effect duration refreshes. This passive skill effect reduces the damage you receive from other players by 15%. It increases the damage you deal to other players by 10%. It increases the damage of all your skills by 10%. And it also increases the damage you deal to monsters by 10%, and all these buffs last for 20 seconds, and every time you use a skill, this duration refreshes. So basically you can keep these buffs activated forever. Overall, this is a very balanced class and I somewhat enjoyed playing it, although it's not that good in Arena. Now let's see the Black Spirit skills for Choryeong class. Now let's see the dodge animations for Choryeong class. So that's it for today. If you found this video helpful, then don't forget to like, comment, subscribe and share. I will see you in the next video.